Hey guys, how you doing? It's Henry at Mowers and Blowers. Last night, before I uploaded yesterday's video, we had a power outage because we had gusts of up to 65 miles per hour the entire day. Rain, downpours at times, it was just 24 hours worth of rain. It was terrible. Then, as I was editing my video, all of a sudden the power went out. And it went out until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning is when they finally got it back up again. So this morning, I uploaded yesterday's video, and today I'm doing today's video, obviously. Anyway, so I got to use my Briggs & Stratton generator for the second time in the past 9 months or so. We had a power outage about 6 months ago. Just a tree fell on some transformer or something like that, But anyway, so you ready for this? I actually used this for about 3 hours. And we powered up a small little TV with an aerial, antenna. And I got like 3 or 4 local channels just to keep me busy. Powered up some lights in the living room. And the main thing was to power up my refrigerator, which was full of food from this coronavirus thing, you know what I mean? While normally, a refrigerator should be able to keep your food for 3 or 4 hours, right? If you have a packed freezer, the freezer part of the refrigerator, it should be able to keep all that stuff fresh for 2 days. So as long as you don't open your refrigerator door. So we tried not to open the refrigerator door at all because we wanted to preserve it, But I fired this baby up for 3 hours and it powered up the refrigerator for most of the night. I bought this machine since Hurricane Sandy over here in Long Island. And it was great because at the time I worked for the airlines. And the airlines actually had some kind of a relief fund for our union, right? And so if you were affected by the storm, which pretty much everybody was, we all got like a check for $500. So I used the $500 to buy a new generator. This was on sale online for $500, free shipping. You couldn't beat it, So it was shipped to my house, and then I put gas in it, I fired it up, and then it sat there for like 8 years, This gas that was in here was 8 years worth of gas, fired right up, no problem, Actually, I might have done that the last time I had the power outage. So this was actually fresh gas from 6 months ago, whatever, if you want to call that fresh. It still fired right up, you know what I mean? So pretty impressed. I dumped about 2 gallons of gas, 2 or 3 gallons of gas in here, and it ran for about 3 hours, and it still has half a tank. So, I mean, half of what I put in there. So I think I only used like maybe 1 or 2 gallons, and it lasted for 3 hours. So there's still like a gallon of gas in here, maybe 1.5. And so I don't know when I'm going to use this again. Hopefully not anytime soon, you know what I mean? But I'm going to put some of this fuel stabilizer in there from my friends over at Lucas Oil. This is a new product that I just got from them from my spring resupply shipment. It prevents fuel degradation during storage. And Lucas fuel stabilizer is safe to use for all grades of gasoline and in all 2 and 4 cycle engines. And use 1 ounce of Lucas fuel stabilizer treats 1 gallon of gas. So I'm just going to put like 1 ounce worth. That's more than enough. I don't even know if that was an ounce, but I don't know if I have a gallon in there, It's good enough. So this thing ran great. It has a fuel shutoff, which I put on. And when I shut it off last night, I did the fuel shutoff, let it run until all the fuel from the carburetor was depleted. So now this is good to store. I'm out back here looking for some wheels for a friend of mine who lives locally here. He's found some push mowers for me in the past, and he found one that he wanted to try to fix himself. Mike's Lawn Care over in Babylon. Anyway, he was asking me if I had any wheels. I came out here and I think I found some wheels for him, but then while I was out here, this is my Murray LT wide body. The 14.5 42-inch deck, and this thing runs great. But it looks like it needs some ATF in the front tires, huh? Might have to do that later. So I'm slowly but surely selling my tractors, and I actually have some parking spots here, because I've sold some. As you know, I have my Murray Select in the garage. It's been in there for some time. I didn't want to take it out because it was just so muddy, you know. I think I'm gonna start it up and bring it back here and park it. I already have a buyer for this Toro. He won't pick it up until Friday. He hasn't even seen it yet, and I have it listed for $375. But two guys already offered me $425 for it, so I'll give it to the first guy that asked. Anyway, so I'm going to go fire up that Murray. I'm not going to work on a lawn tractor yet. I have too many push mowers that I need to get going. So, you guys know I just got that one going yesterday, right? And I'm just going to take some pictures on the lawn now of it. But I want to see if it starts up, you know. Sometimes some things just start up like a fluke. And then the next day, after sitting all day, it doesn't start anymore. So, I'm going to try it. Tecumseh. Primer. This is what's happening on my block. You know what this is. This is kids having a birthdays thingamajig where all her friends just line up with their parents with signs out the door saying happy birthday. Oh boy. That's stupid. Anyway, with this one, as you guys know, I did an engine swap on this baby, right? And this engine is from mower number 2, that Craftsman LT4000 with the cracked frame. I took that engine off and put it on here. While it starts and runs great, right, kind of smokes. So I'm thinking maybe it might be the pistons, but, you know, I had this engine on its side for some time. It was, you know, hydrolocked with oil and all that. Probably has tons of oil in the muffler too. And while the oil had subsided quite a bit, I recall that it was still somewhat smoking. So I'm going to start it up right now and see if it still smokes. And then I'll park it in the backyard and figure out what I'm going to do with it. Choke, brake, here we go. Started right up, sounds good. Not smoking yet. We'll let it run for a while. Running for about 5 minutes. Don't stop. Now it's starting to smoke. As you can see, last night's storm has played a little bit of havoc on the trees and the branches, and I've got to clean this up a little bit. Backpack blower, man, I love that thing, and it blew all the crap off my lawn, and I kind of know why. I don't know, maybe it's not growing because it had like a ton of like excess mulch from over here that blew onto there, and a lot of twigs and stuff that was all over the lawn, so that Red Max blower really blew it clean. So maybe it'll start growing now because all that stuff might have been, you know, covering up the you know, sunlight to the grass and stuff. That's possible. Anyway, so this is that thing. It's a Craftsman Tecumseh engine, high wheel, no bagger, front self-propelled. The cable's not snapped, but it's off of that shifter thing here. You know, while the shifter works, it's not connected to the wire. I have to open this up and try to connect the wire onto it and see if the self-propulsion works. Doesn't start. It did, but while I was mowing with it, for some reason it just quit, you know. So I'm going to take that carburetor off. I was going to sell it for 25 bucks, but I figured, hey, if I could get it started, I'll get more money for it, you know. So let me just mess with that right now. I'm going to take the carburetor off, maybe do a quick and dirty. Drip gas because the gas tank, it's not full of fuel, so I don't think it'll drip. Of course, with these Tecumseh carburetors, every time you take it off, take off the float, I mean, you run the risk of the gasket not seating again, and it'll leak, because that's what they do, they leak. But I have to take this off just to see. It's like IKEA furniture. When you take something, when you buy IKEA furniture and you put it together, then you want to take it apart and move somewhere, and then you try to put it back together again. All the holes are extra big and thing wobbles like crazy. It's not blocked. Maybe a little, but not too much. Well, there's some good gas, right? But there's also gum too. See? I'm gonna clean that up. Put it back. So, now that it starts and runs, this price just went up from $25 to $50. Now let's see. You guys saw the belts were working on the self-propulsion. It was spinning and everything. Just needs to be engaged. I'm going to see if I can attach that wire back onto this shifter. Seven-sixteenths bolt on one side. 7/16 on the other. I remember that when you take this apart, springs go flying. You'll never get it back together again, but I've got no choice. Got to take it apart to see what's going on. Come on, man.
Can we use a screwdriver?
All right. So can you believe it? It wasn't the shifter assembly at all. Because when I put it all back together again, I was wondering why it wasn't pulling, and then I just pulled this, and this was already rusted crap to crap on the inside. Just pulled right off. So I need a new cable, which I don't think I have. Can you believe it? I have an extra set. Handle, apparatus, and wire. That is, if the transmission works. something needs to be depressed. So check this out. See the second spring there, the rusty one? I just replaced that. There was a more stronger spring that didn't allow. This was a stronger spring and it didn't allow this to pull enough, right? So I put a longer spring with less tension so that this is able to engage, but at the same time be strong enough to pull it back to disengage. Here we go, let's try it again. Now we have a high wheel mower. It starts very easily, runs pretty well, and the front self-propulsion works. So I'm going to sell this now for $75, but it doesn't have the front cover for it. But got a front cover for it from this. That one looks a lot worse than that one, so might as well make the other one look better, you know. Okay, this is going back to $100. But first, I need to just get this out of my yard, so I'm just going to strip this down for the parts that I might need, and I'm going to dump the rest of the carcass. This Craftsman push mower is my next victim. I just pulled it out of my tent in the back and put some gas in there. I don't know how good the gas is, but I put it in there. And it started, revved really, really high. Then I messed with the linkage, and now it just starts for a second and then it stops. So I'm just going to take the carburetor apart and see what happens. long time. 2 carburetors, 2 primer bases, you know. In the beginning, it primed fine, but then when I took it off, right, the gasket was all ripped up, so I took it off and put a new one on. Did they make 2 different kind of gaskets? One with maybe a hole and one doesn't have a hole? I'm not really sure. But now it doesn't prime, so the only way this starts up is if I spray something in there, you know. When I press this, it doesn't seem to prime, you know. So I'm going to have to do a little bit more research on it. I used to do a lot of these things. I don't know why it's not, you know, starting. Also, the engine's kind of bad because it smokes a little, and then when you stop it, it smokes kind of a lot. So I'll show you right now, see? See, when I stop it, it's a lot of smoke. So yeah, this one has some issues, you know, and I've spent quite a lot of time on it already. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I don't think I can sell it this way, right? At least for good money, you know. But anyway, just messed around with some mowers today. Nothing really too major. I ordered a carburetor from on eBay for that Kohler Toro recycler. Really nice mower, you know. Shout out to James Roma, who bought a couple of my stickers, and here's a little bit on his business.
Henry, why does that weird Ohio man have your sticker on his lift table?
That's Henry from Mowers and Blowers, sponsored by my friends at Lucas Oil Products.
You guys can see that's my plug aerator, the one that I lent Bobby and Larry. I used it a couple of times 6 months ago. My lawn still looks like crap. Anyway, so I listed it for a I don't want to sell it price of $150, and some lady's coming to pick it up for $150. Hey, if I can get $150, I'll sell it, you know. I think brand new is only $125. Crazy talk. So that'll do it for today. We got that beige color Craftsman with the Tecumseh engine. We got the self-propulsion working, as well as it starting and running great, you know. I just wish I had a bag for it, but that's a big bag that comes with that. So while I had it listed for $25 as is, now I'll probably get $80 to $100 for it. And this one I don't know yet, so we'll see what happens. Anyway, thanks for following me along today, guys. I'll see you guys next time on Mowers and Blowers. Next time on the Mowers and Blowers.
Hey y'all, it's Kylie here, and we'll see you next time on Mowers and Blowers.